Hello and konnichiwa from the Sapporo Dome, where we are about to launch the biggest day of pool play in Rugby World Cup history. First up, it's Australia v Fiji under the roof, followed by Argentina and France, with our Super Saturday closed out by South Africa v New Zealand. It is wall-to-wall World Cup action across Japan. I'm Sean Maloney, and it is great to have you with us inside this extraordinary dome, normally used for baseball. The pitch has literally been rolled in over the diamond to give us the perfect deck for fast-paced rugby from both Fiji and Australia. The city of Sapporo has thrown its arms open to fans from across the globe, and the green and gold are everywhere, with Aussies buying over 40,000 tickets across the tournament, making them the #1 touring supporter base here in Japan. So Australia and Fiji find themselves in Pool D alongside Wales, Georgia and Uruguay as well. Wales and Georgia get the weekend off. They'll go around on Monday with Fiji's next up game after this v Uruguay on Wednesday. Well, Fiji are so well supported here. We know the entire country is dialed in, and to those of you on the islands, Bulavanaka, to those of you in Rugby Town, Singatoka, it is Tholovina from Sapporo. Fiji's build-up to this World Cup has just been excellent, and with their extended time together, they have a great chance to potentially overturn their 2015 World Cup pool game against Australia, which saw the Aussies come away from winners in that clash. It is a superbly rounded Fijian side, and I know that the man to my right can't wait to see them go about their work. Two-time World Cup representative with the All Blacks, Andrew Mertens. You have just got a smile ear to ear, because you know what these men bring to the party.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shawnee. Hello, everyone. Looking forward to this match immensely. Fantastic to see Fiji having extended time together to develop consistency and depth coming into this World Cup. As we look at their strong, mobile front row, we see their prop, Kampezi Mafu, with 58 tests today, is the most experienced player in this Fijian team. The locks come from prestigious clubs, Harlequins and Racing, and Leone Nakarawa is playing in his 3rd World Cup, as too is the captain, Domenico Wangari-Burotu, who is joined in the loose forwards by big ball carriers in Yato and Mata, Frank Lamani and Ben Volavola at 9 and 10. Former Waratah Volavola should know his opponents pretty well today. Power and pace in the midfield with Botia and Naisarani. And as we look forward to more pace and ability in the back three, we find history being made by a player playing in his 3rd type of Rugby World Cup after Rugby League and Rugby Sevens. It's left wing Semi Randrandra.
And the bench looks like this. It is Vungakoto, the youngest in the squad, who will impact in that number 16 jersey, and their all-time try scorer as well, Niki Ngonova, in the 23, set for game time a little later. So, as we mentioned moments ago, Australia are the #1 ranked supporting team in terms of tickets bought here for Japan 2019. They are all across the joint, are the Aussies. 1.7 million tickets sold for Japan 2019. It is massive. And they are here to watch their men try and go one step better than 2015. Lukhan Salakaia-Loto in the house alongside that man, David Pocock. It is a well-rounded match day 23.
Yes, and Australians have piled in here because they know their team needs a boost. Plenty of Polynesian power on the Australian front row, where tight head Allan Alaalatoa also has his brother Michael in the tournament playing for Samoa. Rounding out the tight 5 are the big locks, Izack, Rodda and Rory Arnold, both bulky and hard-working. To the back row, where the standout feature is the dual poaching threat of Pocock and Hooper, alongside bruising runner Naisarani. Plenty of experience playing together in their Brumbies days for the halves, Nick White and Christian Lealiifano. And the midfield boasts an older and more mature James O'Connor. Blockbusting Samu Kerevi will be crucial to Australian hopes. The talent at the back is spearheaded by former Fijian Rugby League international Marika Koroibete.
And here is a look at the Aussies bench as well. James Slipper a big in. Let's get sidelined to Mel Robinson, two-time World Cup winner herself. Mel, does it get any better than this?
It does not get better than this. A capacity of just over 41,000. We've got the Aussie fans, the Japanese supporters, rugby lovers here to watch two sides who can rip a game apart. Both teams have players who could quite easily be cast as superheroes in a Marvel movie. They're athletic, unpredictable and gifted. Put your seatbelts on, people.
Looking forward to your involvements across the afternoon. Melody Robinson, here is the coin toss thrown up by referee Ben O'Keefe. It's a double flip from Ben O'Keefe. Michael Hooper has a chuckle. A little indecision. There's no wind to worry about, Skip. We are under the roof. The conditions are absolutely perfect, and as Melody Robinson mentioned, the pitch is hard and fast. You could not wish for a better setup for an opening pool game. Australia, Fiji. Now take you inside the Fijian dressing rooms. Andrew Mertens, you've done it all before. What's going through your mind ahead of your opening World Cup game?
Well, there's so much preparation, of course, goes into it for all these teams. They just can't wait to get out on the field. And particularly, like I mentioned before, this time for Fiji, fantastic having all that time. Their players are scattered around the world. It's hard for them to get them together. This time they've had 3 months and they're looking for some consistency and get out there and explode.
The Australians, they've had mixed form through the Rugby Championship. Here they come. So Australia had wins against Argentina and New Zealand both through the Rugby Championship. And now it is Doniko Onganimburutu, the captain, with the privilege, playing in his third Rugby World Cup to lead out his nation. Extended time together. We've also had the benefit of setting up camp over here in Japan, in Akita. It was on to Abashiri. Small little town which suited them down to the ground. They like it low-key, but on the park they are high voltage, high energy. So they are the taiko drums used to symbolise a festival, and that's what we've got coming for the next 7 weeks. Melody Robinson, what about the echo?
It is great. I tell you what, I haven't been in a stadium with a sound system like this before, with the amazing drums. This is where the anticipation and the nerves are starting to dissipate for these players, because they know they're only moments, a couple of minutes or so away from actually getting into the action.
It is actually pulsating under the roof here at the Sapporo Dome. Everyone is set, ready to go. Australia v Fiji. Fiji looking to cause a a massive boil-over, a massive upset. Christian Lealiifano, he's some kind of a comeback story himself. Just 3 years back, diagnosed with leukemia, he's overcome that to now take his spot on the biggest rugby stage of all. Time now for our anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthems of Fiji and Australia.
フィジー国歌、オーストラリア国歌の演奏です。
It's a huge roar on the other side of the Vans Australia Fair because there are thousands of green and gold jerseys littered throughout the Sapporo Dome. The two-time World Cup winners, the Wallabies, looking to make it a third title in 2019. Nice. Naisarani gives his respects, and speaking of, time now for the Fijian Thimbi, their cultural challenge about to be laid down here to the Wallabies. Fiji ready to go. Their coach, John McKee, has done all he can. The preparation has been A1 from John McKee. So too that of Wallabies coach Michael Checker. Kick-off so close now. Andrew Mertens had just got the hairs on the back of your neck, standing up that little bit taller, the Thindi from Fiji.
Yeah, it is short and sharp and brutal, isn't it? And, you know, a great way for them to lead into the game. They get really low, as they're going to have to do in tackles and in the rucks, and really take the challenge to Australia. And they've now just gone for a little jog down the end. Goodness knows what speed they're going to come ripping out of this game at, but it's going to be ferocious.
So just winding it back, just letting the emotion subside for a moment there, heading back to their own try line and just collecting their thoughts there. It is a star-studded side. Another look at the starting side from Fiji.
Yeah, and they've got some big runners. What they've shown in their matches this year is they've provided some consistency, but some cohesion. They work well together. They've got all these big runners, but holding onto the ball, being disciplined around that and stringing phases together has become a real hallmark of their game. They beat New Zealand Māori quite convincingly in their hometown of Suva earlier in the year. That was something that hadn't happened in over 60 years. Now they're up against similar statistics today against Australia, because it's been 65 years since Fiji has managed to win against the Wallabies.
15.
Ben O'Keefe, our referee for this one. We are in good hands. He has one of the best seats in the house. You've got the second best at home. Sapporo Dome, Australia v Fiji, and Australia go deep with a kick-off. Hodge gets the charge down, working Australia go close inside the first 10 seconds of play. Fiji scramble and get back. Hodge got his huge hands on that, managed to almost steal a try from Fiji right off the bat. Now they settle into it. Lamani in digging for it. Volavola back deep. Lamani takes the pressure off and box kicks himself. Kurtley Beale's back for Australia, takes it nicely, spins it in field to one of Australia's informed players, Koroibete, who goes wide to Kerevi. Kerevi puts some feet on and then shuffles it one wide to James O'Connor, who is monstered by Joshua Tuisova. Wide, it's scrappy, and Fiji go through and force a turnover. Batia, he's so good on the ball, and now they swing it wide left. Fiji, Nakarawa tips it on. Oh, that's a big bumpy one early from Rundra. Introduces himself to Reece Hodge and says, I'm here all afternoon, Reece. Volavola with a raking kick, hoping that to hop left. It checks forward and Beale's back. Looking at Koroibete again. This time he steadies and looks for touch and won't find the chalk. Lamani reads well, goes into Volavola. Volavola this time round trying to slice the angle across the face of Koroibete, but he's got the pace to get through and take it on the fly. He kicks, a rare kick. That one juggled by Joshua Tuisova. And Rundra, the bookends either side of the park for Fiji. So dangerous, so powerful. That time Tuisova rounded up and put down on halfway. Volavola puts his forwards to work in the midfield. Round they sweep. Nakarawa looking to free his arms. Can't do it that time round. Australia flies to the threat. Here he comes again. Rundra. This time Hodge hangs on. Goes low and catches Semi's boots. Nakarawa, his fourth carry already inside the first 2.5 minutes of play. Now it's Volavola dinking it behind it. It is a clever kick from the boot of Volavola.
A very good period of play at the end there from Fiji. They tried a couple of kicks early. Ben Volavola looking for those corners. Going to be a busy day for that Wallabies back three.
The words there of Andrew Mertens. I'm Sean Maloney's sideline is Melody Robinson, and Mel, you were front row for that shot from Semi on Reece Hodge.
Yeah, they're playing a great kicking game so far, Fiji, aren't they?
White trying to dart from the base of the breakdown. Caught there by Fiji. Now they climb in looking for the turnover. Fiji muscling up, and it's coming back away of the Fijians' penalty.
Physicality has just been huge from Fiji, hasn't it? They've spread the ball wide. Here's Rundrandra, that big bump on Hodge, and Hodge is certainly not lacking in the courage department or in the physicality. But Rundrandra, every time he gets the ball today, he's going to be a huge threat.
Got some interesting intel too from Tobias Matson before the match about Fiji. Obviously they're looking to play the territory, they're looking to play their physical game, but he also says they'll look to slow play down as well, because they know that Australia loves to play it at pace. So taking the penalty kick here, being very measured, this is just an example of the pace or changes in pace that they're going to use.
On the line, on the line.
Look at both coaching setups. John McKee with Fiji. Michael Checker, the Australian boss, watching on as Ben Volavola lines up the first shot at the 6 under the roof in Sapporo. It was great work hustling at the base of that breakdown to set up this first shot on, and it is Volavola taking every second available. Volavola steers it through. Fiji are on the board first.
Really good strike from Ben Volavola. Always been a talented kicker. But these 3 points every time a team gets down the end are going to be crucial today. This is going to be a tight game, initially at least. And that's a very good start for Ben Volavola.
Lealiifano with a restart, flat bats it, Hodge gets through. And now tips it away for Rodda, who takes it towards the 22. Hodge excellent with his work from the boot there of Lealiifano. And a bounce pass over the left-hand side goes in a touch, and no harm done for the Fijians.
Good variation from the Wallabies at the kick-off. Clearly Reece Hodge has given some feedback about that first kick-off where he managed to make the charge down, but they've spotted gaps in that Fijian setup, receiving a kick-off, and picked it out perfectly.
Okay, keep them on you, keep them on you.
It's Sam Murimurivalu with the line-out throw. He's got great targets in the form of Lavambati and Nakarawa, rather. And we'll just play it again.
Just trying to set that gap, isn't he? You've got to have a bit of space between the two.
1 metre, let's go.
So the thrower can throw it right down the middle.
Time on.
Up goes the captain. Brings it down. It's a nice, clean exit. And Volavola gets plenty on. Down towards the Australian 22. Beale bringing it back for Australia, and he's rushed into a mistake. Fiji sweep through, and they knock on. And it's play on as Kerevi rushes his way up over halfway, connects there with Latu. Out the back they go. That was Alaalatoa tipping it to the midfield. Now Fiji climbing, looking for the counter ruck. White with a shallow box kick, and it's going to fall for Rundrandra. Beats Kerevi and almost gets past another. Volavola. Distributed there by Mafu. Across the park for two. Silva, who just steps his way past Hodge. Here they go, Fiji. They've got a 5-star, 5-pointer cooking. Try, Fiji.
What an unbelievable effort from Fiji. We know they can do this. Do we think they would do it against an energetic Australian defence this early? Who knows? They've done it. 70 metres. Great decision from Ben Volavola. He was about to kick. He heard the calls. They had numbers. And they took their time, Fiji. Clinical execution and, of course, speed and power in abundance.
Well, what about Reece Hodge? He was knocked down by Semi Radradra on the opposite side of the field moments ago. He's gone left and he's found Joshua Tuisova, who had support on the inside. It was Haylett-Petty with the put down, and Fiji go up by 8.
And I think you could go all the way back to Radradra taking that beautiful kick receipt, and that allowed Fiji to go back into the middle and then out wide. And then, of course, finishing it off, 99% muscle on an absolute unit is how Yato has been described before.
Reece Hodge must be wondering what he's done wrong to get rolled by Semi Radradra, and then the other tank on the far side, Joshua Tuisova, does likewise to set up that try and put Fiji clear by 8. Volivola from the right-hand touchline, looking for the additional 2. Volivola hits it nice, looking for the fade back through, won't go, stays. Fiji 8, Australia yet to score.
Well, that's been a lot better for Fiji, hasn't it, since that first nervous touch and a charge down right on their line. This is the end of it with Haylett-Petty. Great support play.
They go to that same part of the field. How lovely tip-off there from Naisarani. Through to Radradra. Swung around to an angle here for Volivola to clear. He's got runners on the outside who look hungry, and they'll work away from under their own sticks here. Fiji taken on by Ravi, one of the most athletic props we'll see across the World Cup. They kicked a touch now, and that is just about as good as it gets in terms of an exit.
Yeah, I think he would have liked a bit more distance, Ben Volivola there, but it was pretty clinical, wasn't it? They do that first phase, they just try and jink and get over the advantage line. If there's an opportunity to play, they can do. Otherwise, they throw it to Volivola and he puts it out. Still a good attacking position here for the Wallabies.
Latu with the line-out throw for Australia. They go to the middle. It was Naisarani off the top. Lealiifano, O'Connor out to Koroibete. We've seen that set piece move through the Rugby Championship, and Fiji read it well this time round and get a good shot on it. And now the penalty as well. And it came off the back of that monster hit from Lealiifano.
Fiji counter-racking forward, 11, straight seal.
There's good defence from the Fijian backs. I did think the Wallabies maybe operated their passes or put their passes through a little bit deep. They didn't really commit anyone to that front line, and they used a lot of passes, a lot of effort without taking anyone out, and Fiji just waited their moment, and boom, in they came. Botia, as he say, gee, he didn't miss on Beale.
Australia just a little rattled at this point in time. They've hardly had any possession, and the ball they have had, they haven't executed well, as we have. Look where this tackle comes in and cut in half, just like that. That is textbook.
Murimurivalu. Shape to the front, now they go over the back. Lovely work as well to free up the try scorer. Yato towards the 22. Great run, Haylett-Petty. Now Volivola rips it wide. The pass is sticking, and that's danger for the Australians. Here's Murimurivalu with his first touch of the afternoon. Tex Thavumbati into the 22. Lamani, nice quick ball here. Volivola looking for Radradra. It's a touch too shallow. Radradra goes up and then loses the handle. And now Australia grubbering away. Will go back for the knock-on, but another look at the threat. That is Semi Radradra.
Boy, oh boy, how do you stop this guy? I mean, Reece Hodge had that pretty lined up. Here's the move from Fiji. Beautiful little tip inside from Volivola, and Yato, who just scored the try, making inroads. A couple of phases and it came back here. As I say, Reece Hodge had this one pretty lined up. He's good in the air. But Radradra, with the advantage of coming onto the ball, the athleticism, just incredible.
And also the variety. You'd expect Fiji to keep the ball in hand and take it up physically, how they have in the past, but they're adding in these deft, beautiful kicks. It's just fantastic to watch, and that line-out move, that was genius.
Australia outweighing Fiji, mostly through the front row. That's where Australia get the edge through Latu, Alaalatoa. Pack it down and falls near side, and the penalty will go to Australia.
Good opportunity just to compose themselves here, Australia. They get a few moments to plan their line out. They'll probably be looking at a point about 40 metres out from their line. I think rather than the temptation to run it wide like they did off the last line out, they might just try and punch this a little bit, set a few phases, get Fiji going backwards.
Latu again, pass to the set piece. They look to the middle once more. Good throw, Latu. Nice take. Naisarani. They keep it tight. Hodge comes short side. It's good work from the Australians as they muscle it up the park. O'Keefe gets the check there from his assistant, and it's now getting a little messy. There's a pile of bodies. Will it come back for Australia? It does. It squeezes out the back, and they drive it forward in close for some hard-earned metres. Alaalatoa. White for Kerevi. Lealiifano, sweet ball out in front for Beale. Goes across to Marika Koroibete, who slides back in field, holds his feet beautifully just to buy some time for the Aussies towards the 22. Fiji get back and number up well in defence. Arnold, his first run with the ball for the afternoon. Now it's the Aussie forwards in midfield, and Kerevi's got to go up for it. It was a bad pass for Kerevi, which forced him to check his run. He does a good job to pull it in and save his side. The angles outside in there from Rodda. O'Connor. Little in ball there for Seo. White. O'Connor holding it up for Beale. Beale gets it again for Hooper. Out to Koroibete, who just flings it back in field, and now here it is with Fiji. They defend beautifully. Popped up there by Rugby, and they weren't ready for it, so they did all the work in defence. Rugby couldn't help himself, look for the pop ball, and Australia will pack the scrum.
Well, they weren't helped there, Australia, by losing their playmaker. Lealiifano, for all those phases after the line-out, was down. He was hurt in a tackle. He got a beautiful pass away early in that series of play, and after that, subsequently, it was everybody else from the Wallabies stepping in to take that first pass, and I think they lost some shape there.
I'll talk to him as well.
Can only hope that Lealiifano, who's taken off his headgear, is going to be okay, because he got a heavy shot there, getting that pass out wide.
Sam? Just this side, I've already talked to them.
More positive from the Wallabies, though, there. They had a couple of times where they had, I guess, a man on the outside free and an extra person in another move. And that was it there when you saw the right winger, Tui Silva from Fiji, come in from the outside, and it left that spare Wallaby on the outside. So the Fijian defence is a little bit disorganised. I think there are some opportunities for Australia.
They've done much better, Mel, haven't they, the Wallabies, holding onto the ball for several phases. They do need to go forward. Driving that maul from the line-out was good, just to suck in the Fijian defenders a little bit closer to the ruck and establish a little bit more space for the outside backs to run onto.
Guys, playing on.
Penny Rugby out of Rugby Town on the coral coast of Fiji. Rugby Town. How's that for a setup, Andrew Mertens? It's called Rugby Town, home of the Nandronga Stallions in the famous Nandronga province.
We know how mad Fijians are about rugby. We see it at sevens. You know, fantastic to see the country win the gold in Rio. They are mad about the sport, and whether it's playing it, you know, a group of mates on the beach where they show that incredible ability, whether it's all the little sevens tournaments that go on all around the place, you know, Nandi, and of course in Suva and across in Singapore, all those great tournaments. They're absolutely crazy. They'll be watching this and loving it at the moment.
They'll be hoping that their side can hang tough here. Australia march nicely at the scrum and put the pressure on and win the penalty here. Naisarani carries forward. Quick ball to the left, looking for the hit back here. Australia. Lealiifano knocked to the ground. 5 away. Sio buries his head into the Fijian defence. Latu does likewise. White scanning for options. Hooper, good line. Hooper driving, getting close. Michael Hooper. Australia go in through the skip.
Well played, Michael Hooper. That's experience and that's speed and energy. And he's come round the corner. He's changed his angle. Despite the fact he wrapped around the corner going outwards, he jigged back on the inside to get a better line, to get a weak shoulder. And he's held on to his feet. We see right from the scrum, a dominant Australian scrum. They get the go forward here. And they're starting to get some ascendancy in this part of the game. You see Kurtley, Beale come in here and switch to the blind side. But from the next phase, there he goes there, just off the right foot. Michael Hooper stays on his feet, waits for his big boys to come and support. Well played, Australia.
Well played indeed. They've gone wide a few times. They've pushed the passes, and this time it was very direct play by the captain making the decision. That is experience.
It's Christian Lealiifano lining up the chip shot from next to the uprights. This is a gimme for Christian, and through it goes. Back to a 1-point game just inside the opening quarter.
You see it here again. We missed the phase before when poor old Christian Lealiifano, who's been in the wars, had to take contact again. But look at that from Michael Hooper, just the tenacity, staying on his feet. The guys got in behind him, but it was his speed that got that initial impetus, and he did so well to control it and get over.
Speaking of Wallabies coach Michael Cheika last night around the combination of Pocock and Hooper, he says at 7 to 6, 13 divided by 2, you get 6.5, and that's what you get with both those players. They can run hard and they can scurry across the park to put pressure on at the breakdown as well. Here he is again, the captain, up over the 22. After pulling his side back into the contest. It was all Fiji early on. Lealiifano, Arnold put some fizz on that pass, and now some room out to the left for O'Connor, who was looking back now to Lealiifano, who sits in behind the forward runners, one of which is Tolu Latu. White. Lealiifano here. Happy to work it away through CO. Beale. Well, Fiji get through and get a hand on, but Ben O'Keefe sticks his hand out and says penalty against Batia.
Yes, I think just offside there and diving through. Again, gives Australia the chance to relieve some pressure. Starting to get the ball in the hands of James O'Connor a little bit more, which is a good sign, I think, for the Wallabies. He's not the sort of guy you want to be throwing up necessarily every phase into these big Fijian tacklers. If you can get him some space, that's good, but he's showing good feet and he's helping to get that little go forward that the Wallabies need.
Naisarani has been Tolu Latu's target at line-out time in the number 8 jersey, and up he goes again. Can't bring it down clean this time round, so White has to pick and run with, and Lealiifano doesn't see Batia coming through. Now Yato takes it away for the man in the white jerseys, Fiji. Lamani looking for it, penalty Fiji. And again, it's Batia with that rush defence. He's got the Aussies looking left and right, and that time round it's brought a penalty 30 metres up the park.
Yes, Nick White trying desperately to get some go forward there. Now, he's not the guy you want to take into contact, so when he found some space, he threw that ball. Unfortunately, Batia had read it, and poor old Christian Lealiifano, I'm sure they're getting ice packs ready for him in the changing room for half-time already. He has taken some heat in the last few minutes.
You're loving the defence of Fiji. You're trying to put pressure on like that. Butia, and then of course Yato, the number 7 there for Fiji, seems to always be in the right place. And then when he picks up the ball in his fingertips, let's have a look. There it is, pressure on, ball spills forward, and then just see how Yato picks that up. Looks easy, but it's so difficult to do at pace.
Lealiifano, who has just been cutting his way across France for a number of years now, says he speaks French better than he does English after his extended time over there. Lealiifano has helped create this field position for Ben Volavola to maybe extend Fiji's lead. Volavola, the short run up, the little stab, and it's good. 11-7 the score. Fiji are up. Lealiifano looking for Hodge again, but it's too deep. Murimurivalu throws it to the clearing runner. They just get past the 22. It's scrappy at the breakdown. Pile of bodies, and it's slow now as Volavola sits right in behind and just gets the kick away. Great pressure there from the Australians. Beale. Beale gets shot low and hard. And now another penalty for the Fijians. Alaalatoa was the man with the shot, and he didn't miss.
14 goals as well in front. Was the obstruction.
Now, a tough one there for Kurtley, Beale. Reece Hodge was tracking back to try and get in support, and I think ideally he would have liked to come back to that blind side to the right there, which is where he's going there, and then boom, in he comes. Naisarani. They have certainly got the sights on today, Fiji, individually, and now they, through the kick from Ben Volavola, may well get this really good attacking platform close to the Wallabies line.
Words there of two-time World Cup rep with the All Blacks, Andrew Merton. Sideline is a two-time World Cup winner, Melody Robinson. Mel, you are right up close. The hits, it's almost like you can feel them emanating from the park.
You can. They're like missiles. And then I've got the bench, the Fiji bench next to me. There is a lot of chatter, yelling, celebration coming from there too. They're very excited about how it's gone so far.
They led by 8. The margin's back to 4. They go short, and here he is again. Yato. Oh, it's real hard in the mouth stuff. Australia want to go quick here, and now they're driven back into the ring goal. Scrum Fiji. Australia looking to go quick, and I'm not sure that Fiji's the right team to take that game plan into against.
No, I think Fiji's quite happy in the game being broken up, but there was that short line-out throw to Lealiifano. He's been in everything. He has actually played lock. Like most of these Fijians, you could probably put them in any position on the field. He has played lock in a test match against Canada. He's currently at open side. He's currently down as well, getting some treatment. But a prime attacking opportunity here for Fiji, right under the Australian sticks.
They don't want to lose this guy, that's for sure. But remember, I mentioned that Tobai Matson said that they would look to slow the game down a little bit. Who knows? Let's hope it's not as serious as it looks, because they really need that fantastic number 7, Yato, to continue out there. And yep, it's up. He's walking back. Fantastic news.
Mel, you had a keen eye on the warm-up. Did Reece Hodge at any stage go over and mouth off to the Fijians? He has been stomped by Radradra, Tuisova and Lealiifano. What did he do wrong?
No, I can confirm he didn't. In fact, the Fijians were well in the changing room well before the Australians, who stayed out here for quite some time. I just think the Fijians have got their build-up, their mental approach to this one just perfect. So, you know, it's just proving to be a fantastic contest like we all thought it was going to be.
So there is a change. It's a HIA substitution. The Lealiifano comes off. Voka is into the action. Helped guide the Fijian and drew it to a title in the National Rugby Championship last year.
Let's go.
Can confirm that Reece Hodge is A-OK. He's as tough as they come, and he's going to need to be if Fiji are going to keep whacking away at him. He'll go all day. He will go all day.
The setup here, Sean, they've stacked a lot of players on this blind side, Fiji. They've left a huge amount of space over that far side of the field, the right-hand side of the scrum, with just two backs there, and that gives them opportunity. I don't think they'll come to the short side.
And the two backs, that far side, Semi Radradra and Joshua Tuisova. They load the open side. Two men with acres of space. And it'll be Koroibete and Samu Kerevi who have to try and shut them down.
They've got an extra back across, haven't they? Lealiifano's lined up there as well. Three backs defending each side for the Wallabies. They've got to count on Nick White, this close side.
This could be something special. Fiji rushed into it. Good work at the back of the scrum there from Australia. And now they're rushed into the clearing pass. And it's lost there by Levani Batia. They give away that golden real estate. Rodda. White will box kick. Out of danger. Doesn't get a whole lot on it. And Fiji will be happy with that result. And we're not going to go back for the knock-on from Batia.
And then he got out.
Yeah, see, I think that's what Nick White is, why he's remonstrating with Ben O'Keefe at the moment. They didn't really get much advantage there. Here's this knock-on from Fiji. A bit of a collision. They just got excited, charging in there. Both midfielders taking one another out, and the ball spills.
Well, don't forget, Ben O'Keefe is an eye doctor in real life. So let's hope his eyesight's good tonight.
He's watching on his vola, tucks it back off the hip there to the replacement back row, Voka, who's on for Yato, who's... Hey, Joye, what about the offload there from Nakarawa? Now it comes loose side for Australia, and they thump it down the park. Off the boot there of Samu Kerevi, and Fiji are forced to hit reverse. Radradra beats Koroibete. Radradra now with numbers, gets it away to Tuisova. Looks at O'Connor and ices him as well. Oh, he's a one-man demo crew. Vola with a little dinky behind, playing with a penalty advantage there, were they? Yes. Oh, Joshua Tuisova,
Only a penalty, boys.
the tank.
Goal was dipping as well.
108 kilos, most of it in his calves and shoulders.
It's so hard to know where to go on these guys, isn't it? I mean, the conventional wisdom was go low, but they're so well built in the legs as well. There's just nowhere. And poor old James O'Connor has found out that going that high is never going to work.
Well, he's only 171 centimetres, Tuisova, so he's quite short and also built, makes it difficult, which is why O'Connor's just probably thinking, what do I do?
I had one of the Aussie fans, of which there are thousands of here in Sapporo, come up to me yesterday, stoked that he got a photo with a Fijian hooker. And I said, let me have a look. And I said, that ain't the hooker, fella. That ain't the hooker, that's their winger, Joshua Tuisova.
Space still good, I'm happy, eh?
His former teammate at French club Toulon, Drew Mitchell, a World Cup star with the Wallabies back in 2015, said that early on at Toulon they had to say, you can't go to the gym anymore, Joshua. True story, no more gym for you. You're getting too big.
Bodybuilding career then after rugby, perhaps.
I don't think Andrew Merton's ever had that issue.
Well, no, I put a voluntary ban on myself at the start of my career and stayed faithful to it.
Ben Vola, 38 out on the angle. This would make it a converted try lead for the Fijians. A hush falls over the crowd here under the roof at the Sapporo Dome. Vola Strike this time around, hangs it out to the right. No, it's true. Hangs it out to the right, but then squeezes it inside the upright. 14 plays 7. Lealiifano. Again, round the corner to Rundra. He is hungry for work. Lamani back to volleyball, who's controlled things beautifully for Fiji. Into touch it goes.
That was a good kick from Lealiifano. Be happy with that. He just pushed that a little bit closer to the sideline. A little bit more hang time for the chasing Australians to put pressure on. And they've now got a good line-out opportunity just inside the Fijian half. Hodge lurking around Lealiifano.
To the front. It's a rare line-out win there for Michael Hooper. Kerevi's got to dive to take that one. Pocock goes in and helps secure possession. Alaalatoa. White. Fiji with a turnover. Lamani now kicking away. That hangs up under the roof, and it's brought in by Beale, who has Tuisova all over his back. Now they go short side. Pocock heads the wrong direction for a moment. Now Fiji climbing again. White looking for the penalty. Was Fiji? No. This time round, they infringe and they key towards a penalty to Australia.
When you lose your feet. No, you went. No, you went.
It just seems to me
boys. Got to get out
that
there.
Australia is getting a lot more traction, a lot better result when they try and play simple. Every time they've tried to do something a little bit cute, a little more intricate, whether it's a back move, whether it's the line-out move we just saw, they're getting themselves into trouble because the physicality of the Fijians knocks the whole movement out, and any subsequent passes are affected by that. So I think they need to be a little bit more direct. Driving's fine off a line-out. If they don't drive it, they need to go direct. And I think Kerevi's the man to go into that seam between backs and forwards.
Good grab at the front there from Arnold for Australia. To keep it tight again. Just slowing it up a touch. Kerevi. They're not missing their front-on shots here, Fiji, but it looks like we're playing on. Penalty advantage there for Australia. O'Keefe.
Penalty advantage.
Yep, penalty advantage. Hodge, lovely line, Hodge. Fearless in the face of the Fijian defence. He's copped some tap in defence, and
back here, mate.
So you can have some back yourselves. We're going back to the mark. Penalty.
Yep. High tackle on 13 goal.
Very good line from Reece Hodge there, but I tell you what, he wouldn't have wanted to be 1 foot wider taking that ball, because one of those missiles that Melody spoke about before, Murimurivalu, would have absolutely taken him out. But a great gap from Hodge. The Australians have decided not to go for 3 points. See what they can do off a line out. Picking a driving ball, and they've been very, very good at it, particularly in the Brumbies and Super Rugby. When they get themselves set, they're very hard to stop.
Just hear the Australian fans here in Sapporo trying to lift their side. They have been up against it from the outset. And they find themselves with great field position to work from. They keep it close. It's Latu at the back. Through goes Nakarawa. Does so legally as well. Nakarawa now gets some help. Latu trying to hold his feet. Fiji will climb in here. And now called out of it. White.
There it is.
He's going to let the big men do their thing. Squeezes it back for Alaalatoa. Rodda. Fiji get over that one. And again, almost steal it away from Australia. Pocock. One of the stars of the 2015 World Cup. Fiji looking to isolate Pocock there. Tight again. White out front for Lealiifano. Shifts it beautifully. O'Connor good hands for Beale. Beale, Hodge, tie!
Beautiful finish from the Wallabies. Slick hands sees this man, Reece Hodge, get his own back against the Fijian side that has been running at him relentlessly. Good build-up work from the Australian forwards and very slick execution from Lealiifano outwards. Good hands from O'Connor. Beale as well. Good option to move it straight on. He had to stop slightly, Kurtley Beale, as you see here. Just that pause, and he thought to give it on to Hodge, make sure of the try. Well played, the Wallabies. Right back in it.
Someone must have listened to you in terms of game plan too, Mertz, because that's exactly what you suggested to them, the really simple play. And just those one-off runners with the forwards, just setting that go forward was the perfect platform to then go out wide to this bloke who didn't let them down.
That is Haylett-Petty, who was off for a HIA. I'll get word to you in just a second whether or not he has passed his assessment. For the moment, it is Moses Walker who's on the park in his place. Lealiifano looking to level things up from this right-hand touchline. His first shot was a gimme. Now looking to stay 100 from the tee. Lealiifano sends it on its way, hooks it left of the six, and it is back to 2, the difference, with Fiji up over the green and gold.
Just looking at Haylett-Petty's body language, Mel, he's wandered out, head was a bit down, and he's lying down now in front of the bench. Is there any official word yet? It doesn't look like he's going to go back on, does it?
No official word, but he's taking off all of his strapping, so that indicates me his day's over.
He packed a lot of action into a short period of time, though, didn't he?
He did.
Two to play in this first half between Australia and Fiji. Rodda grabs it. It's Pool D play. The first from this pool at the 2019 Rugby World Cup. Naisarani finally, after 38 minutes of action, gets a chance to carry meaningfully. Pocock after the impasse there from Beale.
No!
Takes it 30 away from his line. White. Australia through Kerevi. Kerevi on the angle. Some phase play here for Australia. Naisarani repeat carry. Lealiifano. Latu just slides past the huge shoulders there of Rugby. Koroibete plays distributor. Over to O'Connor. Skips past the first up tackle. Now Koroibete in at scrum half. And now taking it for a spin himself, Marika Koroibete. A hand in everything in this run of play for Australia. Kerevi blasts out of one. Another one of his trademark runs from the Wallabies vice captain. White, Lealiifano looking to get some shape on it here. Out to the right, Rodda. Juggled on the ground. Everyone just kind of stopped, and now we go to the mark, and it's going to be a scrum feed to the Fijians.
9.
Yeah, just a mix-up at the back of the ruck there. And I think Rodda was possibly lucky that he didn't get penalised too, because, of course, you're not allowed to play at the ball again when you're on the ground. Little mix-up at the back there. Australia looking to keep that continuity by the pop passes up to Nick White, so that the halfback doesn't have to go in and clear it off the ground. He can just get it on the run and flick it out to the backs for the next phase. On that occasion, just a miscommunication.
Vola so good in this first half for Fiji. And a reminder, rugbyworldcup.com is where you need to be online for all your highlights, replays, all the action from here in Japan. And you can also download the official app. Just search RWC 2019 in all your app stores to stay in touch with what's going on in and around Japan. It is the only place you need to be for the next 7 weeks. Great to have you with us for this Pool D matchup between the Wallabies and Fiji. Fiji have led from the outset. They led by 8 before Australia worked their way back into the fight. And the clock ticks a little closer here to half-time. Fiji will be happy to soak up what's left and then knock it away to touch. It's been a well-rounded performance from those out of Fiji. They came into this game as big outsiders, as big underdogs. A long way to go. But there's no knock on anything that they've delivered in the first half. Certainly not at the hands of that guy, Joshua Tuisova, who's delivered some steamrolling charges with ball in hand. And Volavola with a chance here to bring it to a close.
Will they do it, Sean? Will they do it? They love to play.
Balls out.
Lamani. Volavola says, I've had enough. He's done. Ben O'Keefe says, guys, go grab a squirt of water. It's been an excellent first half from Fiji. They are up by 2 at the break. Australia down by 2, Fiji up. Andrew Mertens, what's your take?
Well, I think it's been an excellent half of rugby. I think it's swayed quite a lot. You know, both teams have had their moments of ascendancy, and I think it's very evenly matched, as the score reflects. Fiji holding on to the ball, very, very dangerous at all times, and Australia has to be really accurate. When they can do that, when they can hold on to the ball for several phases, they do make inroads. But they've got to work on getting that ball. Steals, turnovers will be very important in the second half as legs start tiring.
The Sapporo Dome is the venue for Australia v Fiji, the first Pool D game from the 2019 Japan Rugby World Cup. And it is the green and gold who find themselves down by 2 at the break. And here are some numbers to help reflect why they are. Andrew Mertens, run us through them.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy, pretty even, pretty easy. Gee, none of it's easy out there. It's been tough and physical, but it is pretty even. Fiji have made more tackles, which often means that the other team hasn't actually been advancing that much, that just going through a lot of phases. Turnovers are pretty even as well, so it's just really been the difference of that physical ability at times.
The execution of Australia good when they have found themselves in Fiji's 22. And a look at how it all unfolded through that first half. We have a full house here in Sapporo. 42,000 to watch Semi Radradra get his way past Reece Hodge. And this helped Fiji get on the board early. Great work, wasn't it, Andrew Mertens, as they climbed in, forced the penalty. Ben Volavola has been terrific from the team.
Yeah, Ben's been very, very good in terms of directing his side around the field, obviously putting in the points. But here we see with Tuisova, who gets that bump off on Reece Hodge, and then the support play. Naisarani initially, and then Yatu, who unfortunately had to leave the field, up in support there. And they're just so supremely talented and fast. Their support play is just amazing, and they can attack from everywhere, which is why when you see statistics that seem to favour one team, yet the Fijians are ahead.
And it was Yato's opposite number, Michael Hooper, who punched it in tight. Not long after that, muscled his way towards the line to bring his side back into the contest. Fiji, though, they just kept hammering away in defence, and potentially, if a couple of passes had have stuck, they could have been cleared by a whole lot more. This was Volavola's second successful shot at the poles. Tuisova just kept looking for people to run over and kept finding them.
That's right, and they only needed to get the ball once, one sniff of it. This kick from Ben Volavola, which looked like it was drifting to the right, came back beautifully. That was his third of the half, and at that stage they'd opened up a 7-point gap again, but then a beautiful response from the Wallabies. Clinical precision with the passing after the forwards had done the hard work, and Hodge it was who went over in the corner, and that was a good result for a effort well spent.
So 14-12 at the break. Fiji are clear. There's been some intriguing head-to-heads across the park this afternoon, and we've found two that we think are just mouth-watering going at it, Andrew Mertens.
Yeah, Levani Botia up against Samu Kerevi. We haven't seen as much of Botia with the ball as we did with Kerevi, but certainly with his tackles, Botia was making things stick. He was a menace in and around the ruck area like that, exhorting his team to greater and greater effort. But as the half wore on, we saw Kerevi come more into the game with the ball in hand and showing his feet, and I think that's where Australia have done well to get some ground as well. Just some good footwork. They don't want to go taking these Fijian flying defenders head on, but when Kerevi was getting the ball in his hand, that wasn't a great pass that he got from Pocock, but good on his feet just to get that extra 3 or 4 metres and get the Wallabies going forward. And as you can see, that's reflected in the metres made. Botia hasn't really had the chance to have the ball in hand, and 50 metres from Samu Kerevi, most of that would have come at the end, along with those clean breaks and defenders beaten. But you see there the difference with Botia, who's made twice as many tackles. That just might be the way these guys are playing their roles within their team as well. So, you know, Botia's making those tackles hit and hurt.
Michael Checker in with his side, and it's a relaxed looking Michael Checker. We're used to seeing some fire and brimstone coming out of the Wallabies boss, but he's cool, calm and collected as he looks to right the first half. David Pocock over his back, enormous frame of trying to work his way into the game. He's been starved of touches and involvement, and Fiji, as you'd expect, easy as you like.
Yes, and reports back from before the game was that they did feel it's been a very relaxed build-up and certainly suitable to their personality and their style. Fijians, they love living, they're very relaxed people, they love enjoyment, they love the exhilaration and the expression of sport. And so for them, you know, just having this peaceful moment and go out and start again for another 40 minutes of big effort.
The green and gold fans here in Sapporo, they've really mixed up their game day themed outfits, Andrew Mertens, and I'm happy to give it a tick. They look terrific.
Yeah, there's some cultural cross-pollination, isn't there? But it really has been an event that's been embraced throughout the country, and you know, I feel almost sure that a lot of the Japanese supporters coming to the game will have been told, support the two different teams, let's even out the support so they both have some voice behind them. I mean, they love an underdog anyway, which is why there's a lot of noise for the Fijians, of course, today. But just the way the Japanese operate, they want all teams to feel loved and supported, which is fantastic.
Joshua Tuisova, who was a force in that first half, is super relaxed as his side makes their way back onto the field here under the roof at the Sapporo Dome. 42,000 seats sold out. 1.7 million tickets sold across the tournament here in Japan, running at 95%. That'll be 100 no problems in the coming days, as those who aren't here yet, who are catching it around the world via their TV screens, so we want in. Now, we'd love to have you here, but you have got the second best option in play right now. Tex Thabim Bati gets ready to go again.
Got a couple of changes for Fiji as well. Tavita Ratuva, he's on, as is Mosese Voka. So bringing on the fresh legs, re-motivate, and get that energy back for Fiji.
The words there of Melody Robinson, two-time World Cup winner. Moving and shaking once more at the Sapporo Dome. Fiji v Australia. Second half off and running. Australia down by 2. White goes short side and box kicks. And it is a handy knock to touch as well. I'm Sean Maloney, alongside me, two-time Rugby World Cup rep with the All Blacks, Andrew Merton. Sideline is Melody Robinson. Mertz, that first half from Fiji, so consummate, so well-rounded.
A great way to describe it, Sean. They showed good enterprise, they showed their traditional flair and ability, but they showed a patience as well. They showed a real clinical approach to their rugby, and, you know, I think that time they've had together has been awesome for the cohesion of the squad.
Midfield they go. Vocker. Out the back. In comes Semi-Rundrundra. This time round it's Nick White getting bounced. Penalty Fiji. Every carry, every contact, and it seems as though a green and gold jersey gets spat out the other side.
He's not the biggest man, Nick White, but yeah, he certainly went bouncing out of Rundrundra there. He really took a run up. Just having a look at that composition of the forward pack, Mel. I think you said Ratuva's on, and I can't make out number 8. Bill Marta's not there anymore. It looks like he's been replaced. So
yep,
that back row has changed a little bit, hasn't it? Voka, Wangani Brotu now, and Ratuva.
Yeah, Ratuva, 24 years old. This is his first Rugby World Cup, so given a great opportunity to get out there. Probably a ball runner, and that's what they need now. That their starting number 7, who was so fantastic in the first half, has gone off.
Move. Get back.
Fiji. Oh, Pocock reads it this time round and crunches. Lamani at the front. He gives some back of his own there, Pocock. Now Hooper kicks downfield, will go back for the penalty. Pocock just sort of saying there, look, if your big guys are going to run at ours, well, I'll give you a little bit back myself. Cleaning up Lamani that time round.
There's no shortage of muscle in that shirt of David Pocock, is there?
I was right there, no high tackle. Chest to
seen
chest.
the
Chest to chest.
physical nature and the photographs of teams at this World Cup, the leanness and the strength, and Pocock is standing pretty close to the podium in that lot. Not sure I would have enjoyed wearing jerseys that tight, to be honest, but
Australia go up, bring it down just past halfway. They set it well. This is the perfect angle to see how they've formed now. Latu slides it back for White. White probing. Kerevi out the back for Lealiifano. It sits up for Fiji, and away they go. Weiss, baby. Waisea Naisarani try.
well, I've set the stadium. I like the Fijians. Naisarani from about 45, 50 metres. A handling error from the Wallabies. Quick to pounce. And he runs all the way into the arms of his teammates who are warming up behind the post. Here it is here. Probably should have gone wide right from the start for the Wallabies. But Naisarani quick to pounce, and nobody was going to stop him.
And look, all of the reserves who were warming up were all there ready to greet him and say, well done. Maybe Lealiifano just needed to be a little bit deeper, or the pass just wasn't accurate enough. What a shame for the Wallabies. But on the other hand, joy for Fiji. We had the rest of the management doing breakdances over here as well.
It seemed the Australian move was always pre-planned to hit that front runner, and it was the wrong option. Should have gone out the back from the start to Christian Lealiifano. It didn't. It came off the arm, slowed it up, the Fijian defence was able to react, and Naisarani, boy oh boy, he's quick.
Ben Volavola with his easiest kick of the afternoon. It's a converted try lead now, and an opportunity for Benny V to clip through the extras. Does so. 21-12. It reads on the scoreboard, and Fiji are up. Well, unbelievable finish there from Naisarani, and there are a host of photos going up on Facebook from Fiji of the locals in Pocock, up north in Vanuatu, on the roofs of their houses, looking for a vantage point at the TV screens down there. Bulvanaka to each and every one of you. Hello to you across the rugby world also. Do we have a famous upset brewing here in Sapporo? Fiji up by 9. An eternity to run though for Australia to try and work their way back to parity and maybe get their noses in front.
And they've got a good chance to put some pressure on here. A line out pretty deep into the Fijian half. As we see, Genia will be looking to add some impact as soon as he can, I'm sure.
Latu, oh, that slap back from Nakarawa. Uh-oh, Semi looks up, loses it. First error, first thing close to an error from Fiji this afternoon through their big guy. Naisarani, Fijian born, takes it towards the 22, and again there's just so much sting in the tackling of the Fijians. Pocock goes into the most recent try scorer, Naisarani. Bang again they go. White. Alaalatoa shapes the Pocock, goes himself. O'Connor had some good touches in that first half. Suyo spinning. Grabbed by his opposing front rower, Rodda. Look at that! This from Hooper. Hooper cuts through. 10 out Australia. Beale lays it off there for Arnold. Can they get it over the top to Latu? He's unmarked now. Fiji muscle up. Kerevi goes direct. Beale. Flat ball for Latu. Handled there by Murimurivalu. And now the steal from Fiji. Right on their own line. I think it might have been the fullback. I think it might have been Murimurivalu, and the crowd climb into it that little bit louder, and they are on the backs here of Fiji.
Yeah, they just ran out of numbers a little bit, didn't they, the Wallabies? Got it out wide to Latu, and then it was just Kurtley Beale having to deal with that clean out all by himself. Fijians smelt the opportunity and were through onto it very, very quickly. They've only managed to clear by about 10 metres, so still a good position for the Australians.
Latu to the back, and it falls here for Fiji. Another error. Lamani darts out of the base of the ruck, kicks to touch, and they are heading the right direction for the moment, the Fijians.
They are. They're putting a lot of effort in to steal that ball and only getting small incremental progression up the field. They really probably wanted a 40 or 50 metre clearance there. Maybe could have taken a little bit more time at the back, Fiji, but you cannot fault their effort in stealing that ball right in front of you, Mel.
Fantastic body position, wasn't it?
Just overrun a touch on the outside there, and now they settle into it. Latu. He got it away there, and now picks and goes quick. Latu looking to catch Fiji out of position around the fringes there. Pocock tips it up there for Arnold, who's sent back. Hooper. It's out, is it? No.
4. You got to get out of there.
Not rolling with the call, so the pounce on the ball there by Tex Ratuva wasn't the issue. It was not rolling at the tackle context.
4 not rolling.
And a pretty easy call here for Michael Hooper to take the 3 points, get back with inside that converted try range of Fiji. Currently 9 points, of course. The Australians need to be careful there. A couple of penalties for the Fijians not attempting the steal correctly, but they don't want to too often leave those ball carriers with only one support player, which has happened a little bit too often. We saw it just before with Latu. We almost saw it again just now, so they need to tighten up a little bit and maybe put a couple more into that ruck area.
It'll be Reece Hodge with his shot at the sticks. Christian Lealiifano handing the tee over to Reece Hodge. His first attempt for the afternoon. It is about as straight as it gets. 25 back, Hodge. Hodge stripes it. Australia grab their first points of the second half.
Well, Genia's on for Australia, subbing on at halfback. Some great experience in class there.
Well, Genia will play his rugby in Japan next year, alongside his long-time good buddy, Quade Cooper. It'll be top league action for them in 2020. Not a bad guy to call on, though. Will Genia, 105 test caps for Australia, the 31-year-old. Maybe he's the one who can just get it to click a little better for Australia. Down to Hooper it goes, the restart from Vola Vola. Genia. Arnold. Met and dropped in the midfield. Lealiifano for Beale. Beale. Koroibete. O'Connor. Genia running out and just committing and now servicing. Lealiifano. Naisarani, good ball there for Beale, but then he bounces it across the park to Hooper, who rolls across the deck, then bounces to his feet and steals a couple of cheeky metres on the other side. Genia calling for runners here, and now they assemble. Latu. Latu, hard work coming away from their own 22. Latu put down by Nakarawa. Here's the box kick from Genia. It's good contact as well from Genia. It's a terrific clearing kick off the boot of Will Genia.
Yeah, he's made his presence felt immediately, Will Genia, hasn't he? Great kick. Wouldn't surprise me if we see Matt Samu close to coming on soon as well. I think Lealiifano's pretty sore. We've seen him give up the kicking to Reece Hodge from a kick that was right in front. He's taken a lot of shots today, Lealiifano, and just the fact that probably Genia and Tamua would have worked together quite a lot this week. Maybe we see that as a combination pretty shortly, Mel. And also Genia, just shown then by his kick, he's identified that only one player is hanging back. That's Murimurivalu for Fiji. So putting that beautiful kick in.
Nakarawa. Oh, it's loose now from Fiji. What's happening here? And O'Keefe just blows the whistle and says offside's the call there. Rabbi couldn't help himself, so the lost ball and the error compounding against the Fijians there. There won't be much subtlety from the Wallabies here. It's straight to Arnold, get around him straight away. They got some good ground before with a rolling maul, and at the end of the first half, I think they're going for 5 here, and I think they'll get it.
They should go at the front. Woola is always placed at the front of the line out in defence. Quite interesting.
Arnold brings it down for Australia. They keep it tight. Latu's at the back. And the Wallaby fans here in Sapporo look to edge their side ahead. Genia sniping, going to Kerevi. Kerevi driven back in the shot from Batiri's opposite. Genia, O'Connor. O'Connor trying to dance his way around the white jerseys. Can't do so. Slow ball penalty again.
Number 1, number 4.
Campese Ma'afu.
1 and 4. Collapsing them all.
And Tex Thavambati. the offenders for Fiji.
Here.
Yeah, Ben O'Keefe saying that
number
Fiji
1 and
pulled
4,
that
collapse
maul
them
down. Just interesting, that next phase. I mean, you've got a guy like Samu Kerevi running that hard and that fast. Wouldn't it be great if he could run into no defenders? If all the backline had been engaged
Boys,
from the Wallabies
keep it up,
out
okay?
wide,
Keep it up.
then the Fijian defenders would have had to consider them, and Kerevi wouldn't have run into a white wall as he did. Here they go again, attempt number 2, nothing different, straight to Arnold.
Latu, Arnold. Carbon copy. The setup's decent as well. They drive it short side. Latu's at the back. They're running out of real estate to work with here, though, Australia. Another penalty advantage being played here for the Aussies. Genia slapping off the Fijian defender. Genia. Oh, it's not a great ball. Lealiifano with a hit and hope, but there's nobody out there. Or is there? Koroibete brought in by Fiji. Back we go to the mark on the other side of the field. It looked awful off the boot of Lealiifano, but then Koroibete and Beale got on their bikes and shot across. We're going back to the mark. Ben O'Keefe wants a chat.
So, Don, we've got a penalty here for 6 white collapse in the maul. Yep. That's right after 1 and 4, stop the momentum by collapsing as well. Then after the offside, okay? That's 3 down here. If we have another one like that, especially at the line out to maul, be a yellow card. Talk to your boys, tell them they need to keep them all up, okay? 1, 4 and number 6. Yeah.
That's 2 penalties in a row
well.
against Fiji from a rolling maul. As there's news from the sideline, Mel.
Yeah, substitution for Australia at number 8. Salakaia-Loto comes on. We know he's a devastating runner with the ball in hand, and we've also got a couple of extra subs there. Maui and Solo coming in for Fiji as well.
You just wonder, Andrew Mertens, here, if it might be worth Fiji competing at the line-out, getting a hand up, jumping up. You're almost going to concede 5 anyway if you try and bring it down, such has been Australia's march out the set piece here. Maybe that's the go.
Well, it seems there's no legal way for them to stop it. As we see Hodge go to touch again, it's going to be the same thing. They got done for pulling it down the first time. They went in on an angle the second time. Another penalty and somebody's walking. So it's either a try or compete, and they haven't done it.
Latu to Salakaia-Loto at the back. Pulls it in. So they shift the point of attack. They go to the back this time. Latu on the back there. Tolu Latu try. Australia. The margin is back to 1. Kick to come.
Yeah, another good ball from the Wallabies. They're very proficient at it. They don't maybe have the biggest, most bruising pack in the world, but they're certainly organised. And Fiji just had no way to counter this in a legal manner. They gave it their best shot early. That's all you can do. Get in and drive the Wallabies off the mark and hope that they have to go to ground to save the ball. But once they got it set, it was one-way traffic, and Latu, good control at the back. Pretty straightforward once he finally got to the line, but all the work had been done before. Great effort from Australia.
Tolu Latu has been industrious this afternoon, and he's rewarded with a 5-pointer. He leads his forward pack for carries. Tolu Latu. It'll be Hodge with the attempt. The kicking duties staying with Reece Hodge. Christian Lealiifano happy to let this guy continue adding to his points total this afternoon. He already has a 5-pointer. A key 5-pointer it was too. And Australia, through 58 minutes of play, still trail Fiji. The kick is off to the right, and Christian Lealiifano is off the park. His day's done, and it will be the sub that sees Matsumua come onto the field for his second World Cup. Vola restarts. Down to Hooper, who has been a magnet for the ball from the restart. Grabs it again, goes again. Salakaia-Loto kicking his way clear. The tackle there of Haylett-Petty. Beale releases, runners out to the left. One of Vich's. Marika Koroibete needs help. Cuts back in field. Marika Koroibete put down on the 22. Pocock's there to lend a hand. Genia, the momentum swinging with Australia. Salakaia-Loto, a touch isolated. Genia looks up, comes short side. O'Connor on to Pocock. Pocock back for Koroibete. 10 away now. Genia floats it to Salakaia-Loto. Rush up on the big reserve utility. Tumua for Arnold. Gets it away. Now chop back there. Genia looking to create some room. It's Kerevi. Haylett-Petty couldn't hold his feet. Penalty advantage again here for Australia. Hodge out on that far side. He has taken a beating this afternoon and kept getting up. Hooper. Crunch by Mbatia. And Bati as well. Penalty advantage still here for Australia. They go to Hodge again, who ducks under another big tackle. It's back for Latu. Looking for 2 tries in 2 minutes. Genia fumbling, penalty Australia, and this surely will bring another chat and maybe even a yellow card. Ben O'Keefe has had enough. Who's going?
Boys, 3 advantages, too many penalties. Come here. Wait.
It is Lealiifano, the man who comes to the sin bin for 10 minutes.
Boys, discipline down here.
And this match has certainly swung in terms of momentum. Australia with 8 straight points. And in the right part of the field to potentially go ahead. Salakaia-Loto. They repeat the dose. Latu at the back. He stays patient. And now they straighten the angle. Latu does have to. It's a pair for Tolu.
And hats off again to that Australian pack. Too precise. And Fiji having to naturally be a little bit more gun-shy in that corner after having received penalties. They've already lost one man to a yellow card. They don't need to lose a forward. They had to be very, very careful. And again, once Australia got set, it was only going one way. They'd had a bit more work to do about it this time. The Fijians were a bit more disruptive, which was good. But in the end, it was Latu getting number 2.
Really good discipline from the Wallabies. Great work to keep the ball back in the boot there by Latu. And of course Fiji, they attempted to go up and steal the ball, but they did it at the number 2 position. Australia have been putting the ball back at the number 4 position in the line-out, which is the longer throw. If they competed, they should have competed there. But fantastic work to the Wallabies.
It's a 3rd change in terms of kickers. Started out with Lealiifano. Hodge had a dip, and now it's Matt Tumua. 5 in from touch. Tumua. It is off to the left. But Australia are in front for the first time in this matchup. It's taken them 60 plus, and that is the man responsible as they edge ahead by 4.
This is a period where Fiji needs to soak up the time with a man off the field for 10 minutes. You can see already they're in no rush to get back for the kickoff. This is when they want kicks to go in a touch. They want the time eaten up with setting up lineouts, setting up scrums, holding onto the ball when they've got it, not kicking to the Australians.
shallower. This time round, and Nakarawa gets up, gets a hand on, gets it back, and Fiji, after a long run without, get their hands back on the ball. The money. Taken on there by Latu. Oh, it's lost. It's lost. It'll take another period of time off the clock with Batia off the park, and it was a rare mistake from Nakarawa.
Yeah, just looking up at that Australian defensive line before quite having the ball in his control. They did seem narrow on attack, Fiji. If they could just stretch across the field, get all their players lined up a bit more and stretch out that defence they're facing, then it might get a little bit easier. But as soon as they're bunched like that, they're looking up at a golden wall. Just the eyes coming off it quickly.
Brand new front row there for the Wallabies too in their first scrum.
Real contrast in terms of caps through that front row as well. Melody Robinson, James Slipper comes in his third World Cup with 91 test caps to his name. Sekope Kepu 106, and Jordan Uelese in the middle, just the 4. Does a good job here as well to keep it in, and now Australia going to town at scrum time. They win the penalty just shy of halfway.
Another good scrum from Australia. Would have been interesting to see that ball go out. We know that Fijian backline is down by 1 player. The Wallabies have got a full backline. They had it lined out there. Fiji had to cover that backfield. It would have been very interesting to see the advantage played if Australia could have got that ball out in the backs. But anyway, they've got a great attacking opportunity here. 1 defender down in the Fijian backs. What can the Wallabies backline produce? That's assuming they even get close to getting the ball. Mel, same old story?
Yep, you got to get the line out, set piece first.
Jordan Uelese with his first throw. Can't find the target initially, but Slipper comes around and saves his hooker from any dramas. They keep it close. Arnold. Hooper's in there as always. There's more cohesion about this Wallabies attack now. There's no doubt about that. It's taken a little while for it to get moving in the right direction for the Australians, but now they are 6 away. Tumua, numbers wide right. Kerevi cuts back. Kerevi had Hodge screaming for it out to the right. Was that lost forward there by Genia? No, play on. Hodge is still out there. He still wants a handle.
Backwards, not forward.
Slow, dummy and go from Sekope Kepu. Murimurivalu over the top. Murimurivalu with the steal. He's done it again. The Fijian fullback. That's right, the 1-5 with the steal. He's done it twice this afternoon in identical field position. Lamani. It'll just catch the touchline, and that is superb D from Fiji.
Here we go, this movement from the Australian backs, and Kerevi shrugging off the first tackle, but just couldn't get the ball under control. He had 2 men outside, Beale and Hodge, but once he'd made that decision, he'd committed, he couldn't really get it out there. There's the steal again from Fiji.
You can see Adam Coleman's running on there for Australia. 7 on in the lock. Really love it how James O'Connor swaps with Kerevi, so he'll go in that second 5'8" and give Kerevi the space on the outside. It's a really effective midfield.
Salakaia-Loto pulls in the line out. They march it hard. They march it up the park, Australia. Uelese, the back. Not peeling away, a touch isolated, but he gets the support in the nick of from Kepu. Genia surveys and now pops to Uelese. And again, it's Kepu adding his support. Pocock at the back here. slipper.
Wait, stay back, stay back.
Takes a couple of centimetres. Hooper. You know how hard he is to stop in tight. Australia getting closer and closer here. Wide left of the numbers. Kerevi goes himself. Slemon. Samu. Kerevi. Australia score 18 straight, and we've still got the conversion to come.
Yeah, great try, Samu Kerevi. Good reward for a man who's been the most threatening of all the Wallabies today. Good footwork, good powerful surges at the line. Comes out here, it's a 3-on-2 essentially. The drifting defence comes across, but Kerevi too strong. This is the man with the most carries, the most metres and the most breaks in the Rugby Championship this year. And it's also a man who hasn't scored a try in 14 test matches, and he will be happy about that try and very deserving.
Coaching from Fiji talking about defence coming up and line speed. Andrandra missing the tackle in the end, but what a great try.
Matamua. Pops it over. 32-21. Australia are finding the right gear where they need to be to put away Fiji. And the momentum of this game swung off the back of a fairly innocuous penalty against Rugby. He was accidentally offside, and from there it was all Australia. Previous to that, Fiji were up by 9. Shallow again. Nakarawa can't get up this time. Play on.
Hands up, White! Go ahead!
Dane Haylett-Petty going up for Australia. He's excellent under the high ball and under restarts. Murimurivalu back, and we'll let that one run into touch.
And as you say, games turn on small things. Penalty against Ravai, but also 2 fantastic kicks we've seen from Genia. Just staying out of range of that dangerous Fijian back 3. Moving them around the park. Murimurivalu couldn't quite get across to that one. And now the Australians get to go one part of the field to the next, slow it down, put pressure on the line out, and get that ball back again, because they've been very miserly in the last 10 or 15 minutes. As we see a couple of changes and a return of Mbotia, Mel.
That's great news for Fiji. The numbers back.
Time on.
Still reasonably close. You just never know. 9 minutes to play.
Australia have really poured it on with Mbotia off the park. Marawalu. Replacement scrum half. Digs it out. Back for Volavola, who flatbacks that one into touch.
Control the front again, bro. White on this line.
Territory running heavily in Australia's favour in the second half. Here they are again. In Fiji's 50. Over to Koroibete. First it was Kerevi. Now Marika. Koroibete for Australia.
An exhilarating back move from the Wallabies. Finally, they've put one together using all the backs available, committing defenders, and a beautiful last pass from Dane Haylett-Petty. We see it here. They've spread wide. The difference with this is they've actually taken it a bit more to the line. Now, O'Connor, those last couple of steps that he took, and those beautiful hands from Haylett-Petty. Marika Koroibete, first time playing against his countrymen. He once ran 100 metres in 10.75 seconds. Now, they've got some quick people in Fiji, but even by their standards, that is quick. A beautiful try.
There's been two Fijian-born players who have essentially put this one out of reach of their country of birth. Kerevi and Koroibete with the knockout shots on behalf of the green and gold. He has been one of, if not their best this year, Marika Koroibete with the Aussies. So it's Tremua. The difference is 16. He is chasing it from wide out. Tremua shaping it back, shaping it back, shaping it back, and getting it over. 39-21. 18 the diff. That one just creeps over the 10. Picked up by Hooper.
13 off! No!
Who will sleep well tonight.
Hands, boys, playing the ball back. Okay. Got a clear call from the outside. Boys, hands in the ground.
The only real times that Fiji have got down into Australia's half, this half, have been from kickoffs. And inevitably, the Wallabies have managed to get themselves out of trouble, retain the ball for long periods, frustrate Fiji, wait for the mistakes, and then ruthlessly put them away. There have been a couple of changes, and I just hope that Fiji gets the ball enough to see the excitement machine who's come on in 22 at fullback. Vaitukani taking over from Murimurivalu. He is electric, and I hope this crowd here at Sapporo gets the chance to see it.
Uelese to the back. Pocock plays distributor. Looking to have some fun late here. Australia. Dane Haylett-Petty. Dropped by his opposite.
Go, boys! Hand off!
Genia, he's added some real spark for Australia since coming on for Nick White. Kepu playing in his last World Cup. And Haylett-Petty shapes the pass. Haylett-Petty kicking out of a couple. Getting close again. Koroibete. Oh, no, he holds it up and the thumping shot goes in on Tremua. Fiji limit the damage. Dangerous stuff from behind their own try line. Now the Levu. Over to Rundra. Oh, the no-look ball to Naisarani. They were still rolling with.
Forward pass here, no advantage. Back to the scrum.
What's the call? Was forward pass the call from Ben O'Keefe. I think the whole
goal.
crowd, he
No
just wanted to see it play on and see what happened when Semi got on the other side.
Gee, didn't we all? Didn't we all? I think even Australians here were intrigued as to what might
Boys under pressure, boys.
transpire there. No advantage to Fiji. There was a forward pass somewhere in that in-goal area, and they've come back now for a Fijian feed right on their own line and really needing to conjure up something here.
They head down here for Fiji. It's just been an unbelievable run from Australia over the last 15 minutes or so. It's helped them clear out to an 18-point lead. This game one of what many are saying is the biggest day of pool play in Rugby World Cup history. On the other side of this, it's France and Argentina, and then we round out the dream Saturday here in Japan with South Africa taking on New Zealand in the final game tonight.
Crouch! 5! 6!
Here comes Fiji, away from their own line. Matawalu.
Okay, hold goal! Wait!
just gets the kick away. Well, a touch of relief on the faces of the Aussie fans here in Sapporo. No doubt those of you watching on around the world as well, knowing that Wales are next for Australia. A loss here against Fiji would have been disastrous, and they were down by 9 through 56. But Australia have been excellent in the closing stages. The game is theirs, and now points differential in this Pool D could be key. Penalty goes to Fiji. Maybe it'll be the Fijians who get a chance to score the final 5-pointer.
60 came in second, late.
It really would be nice to get some reward, wouldn't it, for Fiji? I think Australian fitness has paid off. I think also the depth of the squad. I think once some of those frontline guys from Fiji go off, it's a slightly different team. But Australia holding onto that ball for most of the last 30 minutes has really proved key. And I almost wonder if they've gone into this match, Australia, thinking we're actually going to finish with our best 15. You know, you've seen Genia come on. Tamua, I think, added something as well at 10.
They go long over to Volovola, who holds it up for Mbutia. Takes it 40 away from the Aussie line. Over the top there of Volovola. Now the Levu. It's lost in Australia. Through Coleman. Get it. Kepu. Kepu with a spiral across for Kerevi, who just hoiks it out the back, and it is Genia who goes back into O'Connor. The game's there so they can have some fun inside this last 40 seconds. Koroibete with a no-look to Salakaia-Loto, and he can't hang on.
Knock on, boys.
Part of that play, I guess, sums up the frustration for Fiji in the second 40 minutes, that they have coughed up with some unforced errors, which we didn't see in the first half. And Australia, by contrast, has not done that. They haven't given Fiji easy ball, have they, Mel? Every time Fiji starts looking to get on a roll, they drop it or lose it somehow, don't they?
Well, I think that's part of the whole discipline picture that Fiji will have to work on before their next match. It's not just giving away the penalties when Australia are hard out attacking. It's also making sure that you've got that presence of mind that when you're taking the ball or you're receiving a pass, you're constantly concentrating. And yes, it's in the latter parts of the game that's let them down, because they were brilliant for a good 30 to 40 minutes there, especially in the first half. Some great moments from Fiji and some work-ons as well, for sure.
With the last run of play here, Fiji. Now the Levu. Put down by Kerevi.
Let him go!
Australia looking for the steal. Infringing instead. Mvoka. Manawalu sweeps in. Volovola.
No hands.
Desperate for some closing points here, Fiji. Volovola juggles.
No clear release. Take the tackle and load the player.
I'm happy to announce that our player of the match in this Pool D fixture between Australia and Fiji, the 2-try hooker of the Aussies, Tolu Latu, who ran up some terrific numbers for coach Michael Checker. Carried 13 times, a number of great shots in defence, as well as his 2 tries. He's been rewarded with that effort with an early break to give Jordan Uelese a chance.
Yeah, it's a good call, Sean, isn't it? It's very easy to say, oh, it's because of his 2 tries, especially for a front rower. But he's been right in the thick of everything. In the first half, I quite often mistook him for Samu Kerevi. He looked that quick in terms of punching on and punching through the line. He's been good in the scrum, part of that dominant Australian scrum at times, and very accurate with his line-out throws.
Fiji just gets a little bit scrappy at the front there. The captain grabs it. Penalty advantage here for the Fijians.
Penalty advantage, let it go.
Murimurivalu looking up for Tex. Koroibete.
Penalty advantage.
Can they conjure up one final try for the highlights reel? They've delivered an early runner for the try of the tournament. Not this time round. Back to the spot. Still with the penalty advantage here.
Reps in the mall. Sideline side.
O'Keefe heads back.
No, it wasn't. We've got to pull down. Yeah. 17 goal.
You can really feel the toll that game, the pace of the game in the first half has taken on these big men in the white jerseys. On top of that, end-to-end exhilarating first half, they've defended for most of the second 40 minutes, and that's sapping as well. And you can just feel the energy has dripped out. Let's hope they can get up for one more last surge at the Australian line.
It'll be Uruguay next for Fiji. They'll go at it on Wednesday. Koroibete to the front. It's lost. It's play on though. Still with Australia. Rundra, who was bouncing Australians left and right in that first 40, has been starved of touches in the second. Koroibete buries under the tackle there of Tumua. Murimurivalu, good ball out in front. Murimurivalu delays the pass and that enables Salakaia-Loto to come up, make the stop shot on Vunga-Koto, who did a good job of holding his feet and going forward again. Here he is once more, Vunga-Koto. Murimurivalu. Murimurivalu goes deep. Vola rips it to Mbatia, who looks up, runs straight into the defence, and David Pocock says, "That'll do. That'll do." Ben O'Keefe pulls the shutters down on this contest. Michael Checker and his men have run in 27 straight points. Full time, Australia 39, Fiji 21. They were forced to earn it big time, Australia. In the end, it was a 6 tries to 2 effort from the green and gold over Fiji. So that 65-year drought remains intact. That's how far back you've got to go to find when Fiji were too good for the Australians. Andrew Mertens, that was just the perfect entree for what we've got for the rest of the tournament from both Australia and Fiji. An ag of 60 points, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely sensational, wasn't it? Particularly the first half. Australia will be so happy to have got through against what was a rampant Fijian side for that first 50 minutes. But as you say, they weathered the storm. They came back with some really good play, some really clinical execution, and they held on to the ball like misers for large periods of that second half. They'll be very, very happy about how they've come through, weathered that, how they've lasted with their fitness. Fiji's a little bit bowed at the moment. They've put in a valiant effort. They've got nothing to be ashamed about. They're disappointed, and I think they're a little more tired than the Australians. I think that really took its toll as the game wore on. But they'll be better for this as well, and they're now going to go and lick their wounds, continue on, and they'll be targeting Wales when they get an opportunity, that's for sure.
It's just worth reminding again those watching on who may have missed it that there was just one innocuous little penalty, one tiny little slip up from Fiji, which just spun this match on its head and enabled Australia to get the real estate and then get the points to come away as Pool E winners first half.
Absolutely, just a small momentum shift, and from then on Australia didn't really look back. They held onto the ball. Fiji, when they finally got it, and Australia didn't let them have it easily either. There weren't easy turnovers, and then they'd make a mistake.
Let's get down to the field of play for some post-game reaction.
Well, Dom, captain of Fiji team, I know you'll be disappointed in that result, but at the same time there were some brilliant moments. What are you going to say to your team after that?
It was a disappointing result at the end, but I thought we played well in the first half. Just a lot of things that we need to work on for the next game. It's a bit of discipline that put us down in the second half, and that cost us one player in the second half. So I think we did a bit well, but we need to improve more if we want to compete in this competition.
And when you say discipline, how can you fix that?
It's all about mindset. It's all about the team, individual jobs. It's all, you can't really put the blame on anyone. You got to put the blame on yourself. For me and our system, and it's another work on for us.
You've got a very short turnaround Wednesday, Uruguay. Are you confident that you can get everybody back on their feet and ready for that?
We've got a couple of niggles after this game, and we're gonna go back and recover and take a short turnaround and try and get back the game against Uruguay.
Good luck for that. We enjoyed watching you guys.
Thank you, Naka.
Michael Hooper, captain of the Wallabies, are you satisfied with that one?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a testing match for us, going down like that, and in the fashion we did. Fiji really came out of the blocks aggressive. They're big physical guys, and they took it to us there. Really proud of our guys to regroup, managed to work our set piece really nicely into the game, and ultimately that paid off really well for us.
Yeah, that was one of the key differences. Will Genia coming on made a difference? What about the other changes that gave you guys the win? There'll be no secret in the review that the finishers that came on really, jacked the score points, the scoreboard up a lot. So that's what we need them there for. That's what we need the guys coming off, injecting energy, and they did that tonight. And with the try that you scored, did you just think to yourself, right, that's it, I'm taking it in close?
I don't think I was going to get there. Then someone hit me from behind on our team, which gave me that extra little bit of boost. So I can't take all the credit, but nice to get one on the board.
Would you like to say something to the fantastic fans that are here?
Oh, yeah. Goes without saying, but we heard you all night. To the Australians, thank you. Stay with us. We loved you here tonight. All the green and gold. Keep it going. See you next week.
There was a great line yesterday from Michael Hooper to our own Melody Robinson. He just said, we've done everything we can. Let's get it on. And that's exactly what they did across 80. Full-time, Australia 39, Fiji 21. And some of the numbers that matter, Andrew Mertens.
Well, I think that tackle's made is one of the most important in terms of understanding the fatigue that beset the Fijians towards the end of the game. 70 more tackles. Australia, the weight of possession, the weight of territory, didn't count so much in the first half because the Fijians had the energy to take every opportunity, but in the end, it bore fruit for the Australians.
Yeah, the possession and territory heavily stacked for Australia, and they did all that in the second half. Let's head back to the field of play for some more reaction.
Well, John, your assessment of that match, why you guys lost it, but also you did some great things as well.
Oh, look, I mean, firstly, I'd like to say, how well, credit to the players, how well we played in the first half. The second half, unfortunately, couldn't go on with it. We made some critical errors, some critical penalties, gave Wallabies, good field position, and we had a bit of an inability to get out of our own half, even when we won some critical turnovers.
You've got a game on Wednesday against Uruguay. Can you turn it around in this short time?
Well, Uruguay, a dangerous match for us. The boys will be pretty tired after today's game. So, we've got some travel tomorrow, and Monday we'll be really focusing in on that Wednesday game, which is a very, very critical game for us.
At some of the positive moments, many people might not have picked Vulavula, but Fiji's not necessarily known for that fantastic kicking game, but you must be pleased with how he controlled that.
Oh, look, our first half, we're getting the ball on the front foot, and Ben controlled the game very, very well with mixing his kicking game with our running game. So, yeah, we want to get more of that as we go deeper into the tournament.
Good luck for the next one. Michael Cheika, coach of the Wallabies, are you satisfied with that?
Oh yeah, I'm not going to complain at all, you know, like they're such a dangerous team. We know them very well, their players, and like it's what we expected. We probably didn't expect to be as far behind, but we knew that the start of the game would be like fury from the other team, and we made a few errors that let them into it, but we recomposed ourselves and we got back to basics and we were able to get it done.
So how often did you practice the rolling maul with the team?
Oh, just normal. We didn't target it in particular for this game, but this is the World Cup, you know. No scrum, no maul, no line out. We had a few line out issues tonight. No win. So you need to start with that stuff. And I know it's generally not assigned to Australia, that type of stuff, but to be able to do the other things we want to do, we need that.
Do you think the crowd gets the boys up?
This was so good. The crowd and so many Aussies in gold jerseys, and just want to thank them all for coming. I know they're having a great time probably, but I hope they enjoy the game, and we look forward to them being around at all the matches because it's a great atmosphere.
Good luck for the next match.
Thank you very much.
Michael Cheika, a happy man, and no doubt that is largely off the back of the performance of his two-try hero this afternoon. The man of the match is ready to chat on the field of play, Tolu Latu.
So it's a big congratulations to our MasterCard player of the match, Tolu Latu, hooker for the Wallabies. Well done. What a great game. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was fast like I expected, and enjoyable, very enjoyable. A lot of rugby being played out there, so yeah, it was good to come away with the win there at the end.
The rolling maul, Michael Cheika says that you didn't practice that very often.
Yeah, sort of, but all the credit goes to the boys in front. They're just pushing and I'm just following them, and hopefully get over the try line.
What improvements do you want to see from your team in the next match?
We got a lot to improve on. Probably playing through the Fijians a bit more and using our variations. But at the end, like we had good composure to come away with the win and stick to our game plan. And yeah.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tolu Latu repaying the faith of coach Michael Cheika, who's backed him through some tricky times off the field this year, but he's come through the other side in style. Let's take you back to the beginning, and this is how it all played out at the Sapporo Dome. There were some dazzling runs from Fiji early on, delivered by Joshua Tuisova and Semi Randrandra. This already in the running for the try of the tournament. Yato was a man who put it down Andrew Mertens, and it was all Fiji early on.
Yes, they had all the ball except for this little moment here. Great moment as a response from Michael Hooper and the Australians. But apart from that, the Fijians got their hands on the ball and put pressure on Australia. Hodge scored in the try in the corner, of course, as well. But Fiji were picking up penalties aplenty. They were keeping the scoreboard ticking over. And this was what happened at the start of the second half, with Naisarani getting great reward for all his efforts during the day. A big dive. His teammates, of course, very, very excited. But after that, it was one-way traffic.
Well, they put them out by 9 points at that moment. You thought, hang on a second, we've got Fiji on their way to jagging their first win against Australia in 65 years. But the Aussies clicked off the back of an innocuous little penalty. And it was all field position, all points for Australia from there on. This was a key yellow card that went against Levani and Batia. That enabled Tolu Latu and his buddies to start really cranking it up.
Yeah, this was, there were two of these moves. Carbon copies, really. A good line-out win and a try to Tolu Latu. And then we saw just the weight of numbers, still with a player down. Fiji couldn't cover everywhere, and Kerevi was the beneficiary there. And then what was an absolutely fantastic move from the Australian backline. Nice little delay of the pass from O'Connor, and beautiful hands from Haylett-Petty. And Koroibete against his countryman, stripping away into the corner, and that was the icing on the cake for the Wallabies.
They flew home, did Australia 27 straight points, 39-21 FT. So through one game in Pool D, it is Australia with the bonus point win here. Too good for Fiji. Wales and Georgia will go at it on Monday, then Fiji load up again to take on Uruguay on Wednesday. Okay, there were some unbelievable matchups across the park today. Joshua Tuisova is a walking, talking headline. He was huge in the 14 for Fiji.
Yes, and he was instrumental in this very first try, you know, running over the top of a couple of Australian defenders, getting the ball inside to Naisarani, who was in support, and he's just been a menace all day to Tuisova, eventually having to capitulate and go off the field, but he got through plenty of work. They got the ball in his hands nicely, and Australia, by contrast, waited to the second half, and their own Fijian, Marika Koroibete, really came into his own, along with teammate Kerevi, and this was the beautiful try that he scored, using that pace that we know he's got to scorch over in the corner. Comparison there, and the weight of it really is against Tuisova from the possession that the Wallabies enjoyed. Clean breaks from Koroibete. He just managed to get his hands on the ball a bit more often in that second half and making it count. Defenders beaten pretty equal there. Tuisova mostly came from one run, I think, and had to make a lot more tackles, Tuisova, and that's just indicative of what the Fijians went through in the second half without any ball.
Way to get the day started in Japan. Australia v Fiji, 8 tries if you don't mind. And next up, it's France v Argentina, the 2015 semi-finalists. Then we rounded it out with two sides who've both won the World Cup. New Zealand up against South Africa. Unbelievable. It is the Super Saturday we all dreamed of. It is delivered first up. It is a wrap from the Sapporo Dome. We will catch you all again back here tomorrow for England v Tonga.